Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Hey there, everybody, it's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards, get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. It's time for Friday Night Lights. It's the main slate DFS. We got my men out there, Willie Walls and the great Swame, Odell Blocker. Guys, you know, in some weeks you need 270 to win. Some weeks you need 300 to win. Feels like this week, 200 might win you $1 million, Willie.
Yeah, this quarterback slate is very unimpressive, to say the least.
Swami, same thing, right? Mahomes isn't playing. Josh Allen, that game's not here. You know, when you're looking at, like, I don't know, there's 10 games and 9 of them stink. Can we find any nuggets for people?
Like, it feels that way. I've been looking to see which tool we might need to break out this week to win us one. I don't know, but we're not giving up.
We got a couple. It's going to be, I think, a way that if you do it, you know, with a certain quarterback, you could take receivers from the other game, and you can make things happen. There's some interesting developments that happen in Oakland. I mean, in Raider Nation that might change some minds about something that may give me a different point of view of a certain back who got targeted for 11. Target from the 11 catches that game that quarterback played. So we got some interesting stuff, yeah.
I think you're speaking about a man who I will be playing liberally this weekend, so we will talk about that pretty soon. Let's get to the early games, guys. There's a lot of bad games early, but one that sticks out as potential, and Swami, you know this game better than anybody, Seattle and Baltimore. Seattle plays to the competition. Baltimore's good competition. If there's a game in the early part that might be able to break out, is this the game, Swami?
I was reading the Zenmaster article earlier, plug. And what I discovered was that Lamar at home, last couple of games, he's been on fire. And if you look, the Ravens offense, the last couple of games, 4 touchdowns plus each game. I said, and Seattle, remember, Seattle started off, and talking on the defense, started off, they were getting roughed up. Then they had a couple of decent games. Defense looked like they were starting to get it together. But now they have to go across the country to see my Ravens. Doc, I think this one could be interesting. I think that, similar to what we saw Baltimore, Detroit, I think we could see something like that. It's sneaky fantasy goodness here. But I'm not sure if I'm thinking full stack. But I do think that Mr. Lamar is a man interested.
Willie, Lamar's going to cost you a lot of money, and he disappointed everybody last week. Everybody. But you know what? Just when somebody pisses you off, they come back and they're gangbusters. Are we going to get Lamar lower owned than we probably should for the type of player he is?
You should, because he was cheeks last week, that bastard. Messed up, man. My good line. I could have won some major money, that rascal, you know. But he's definitely a play. But I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna give it a little caution. I mean, Seattle even got even better now. Because they got Leonard Williams, I think, from the Giants. They got their best defensive lineman, so he's gonna bolster up a little bit. Listen, they're definitely in play. I mean, it's not gonna be my favorite game, but I might, take a couple of chances on Lamar, but. And you might take a couple of chances on the running back. Gus, has been running the ball pretty good lately. But I mean, I'm not. Listen, I don't really want to test this Raven. Man, they got this number 50. Is it 56 or 58? So this guy named Damian Pierce. What's that guy name? Is it 56 or 58? He was all on. He was dominating last week, man. One thing you don't do against Seattle, they give up only 3.7 yards per over 3.1. They one of the stingiest defenses against the run. So if they're going to do it, they're going to have to do it through the air.
Zay Flowers is the best Ravens receiver against the zone. Seattle plays a lot of zone. Is he in play, Swami? Do we like Zay? Do we like Andrews? Beckham? Anybody like that?
Doc, I got mixed feelings about it. I try not to be a homer. You know what I mean? Don't, because that's when you get yourself, when you start loving your own team, and next thing you know, you find a reason to get them in the lineups. Beckham's got to stay healthy. He's got to stay, more involved. I think between the 20s, he's not there yet. I think Zay Flowers has to concentrate. He has to focus. He has to be more consistent. He's not quite there yet. Then you got Bateman, who's getting a little bit in the mix. This starting to feel a little bit like Kansas City. I don't know if that's good or bad. I like that as a Ravens fan. But this is starting to feel a little bit like that. And then you're talking about even having, potentially Aguilar in the mix. Andrews is going to be there. Edwards has been coming on. It just feels like a lot of people involved. But if I had to take a chance, Doc, if you made me pick somebody, it would be Flowers.
All right, let's take a look at another game here, guys. Minnesota, Atlanta. We don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but I will spend a little time on it because there are certain players I think that might be interesting. I think Hawkinson might be interesting. I think, Jordan Addison potentially could be interesting. Bijan. Are there any plays in this game, Willie, that you're willing to invest in?
It's a pass for me. I think Minnesota's defense quality has played pretty well lately. We have been using them in DFS extensively the last few weeks. And you got Mr. Heineke, who like to throw up those balloon balls, so we don't know where those balls going to go. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not. Then you got, I think London is out, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think London is out. I mean, man. And then you got that new quarterback for the Vikings playing.
Hall.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna say no, thank you on this one right here. I don't want anything. Yeah, y'all can have it.
Swami, let me ask you about Hawkinson. Atlanta's really bad against tight ends. Jaron Hall is a rookie quarterback. Rookies go to tight end security blankets. Are you willing to pay a little bit more for Hawkinson?
Doc, I think I agree with Willie here. Right, I think for the most part, I think this is probably a game where I'm looking at the Minnesota defense. However, with that being said, Doc, if you were going to play it, if you're interested in the piece at all, then to me, you all in or you all out. We not treading the fence, right? If you need us on that wall, you want us on that wall. So you're going to take Hall, Hawkinson, and Addison, and then you maybe look to bring them back against Drake if he's playing.
Drake is out.
Drake is out.
Drake's out. So with Drake out, that makes it even tougher. Now we're talking maybe.
Sir, but tell you what, won't you use that as your low stack of the night? You go ahead and use it.
Yeah, good luck with that one. Good luck.
That's not what I said. I said if you're going to play it, if you're going to play a Hawkinson, if you're going to pay up for Hawkinson at tight end, I think you either all in or you all out in this game. Hall isn't necessarily bad, but they looking to get some of that Levis lightning in the bottle on the first game kind of stuff going on.
No, he doesn't have that kind of arm. He didn't look, but he was Puka Nacua. He was Puka Nacua's quarterback at Brigham Young.
Right, at BYU. And so that's why I said either you take the chance with him, Doc, is all I'm suggesting, or you don't. I don't think you play Hawkinson and expect him to have the kind of game he needs at being at his price, right? He's a little bit on the high end for tight end. Even you might as well throw Hall in with him. He's free. You get him with a car wash.
I'd rather play Mr. Brigham Young or Brigham Young than play Mr. Hall. So no, thank you.
I'd rather play Steve Young. He was good. Okay. All right. Let me ask you about Chicago and the Saints. So here's something about this game that bothers me a little bit. I think the Saints should win this game. I don't think there's any question. But of course, when there's a question, that's when the other team plays well. But Derek Carr comes out of the game a lot. You see Taysom Hill. Kamara is cost you a fortune on both FanDuel and DraftKings. You're paying premium for this guy. Olave has been a mess. Shaheed pops up. Willie, is there any – I think we need to have a Saint, but I'm afraid to overpay for Saints here.
I mean, listen. What Chicago does is Kamara's strength. They give it up to pass and catching backs. And who catches more passes than Kamara? Nobody. So Kamara is definitely in play if you want to play him.
Are you playing him?
Yes, I'm gonna be playing. I'm gonna have a couple of Kamara Barkley stacks, a couple of Kamara Jacob stacks. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm gonna play some Kamara.
And who's your wide receiver? Swame?
No, sir. See, that's what I'm gonna get different, and that's what we'll talk about later.
All right, Aiden O'Connell's not different. All right, don't go crazy on me. He's not different. We all know about him. He's not different.
I'm not playing Aiden O'Connell, sir. We got like another guy in New England.
Oh, okay.
Who's a man of interest, and then what you could do is you can stack AJ Brown against, say CD Lamb, so you could pay down a quarterback at 4,900, and then you could pay up a receiver in those games, in the premium games where they could go back and forth. Okay.
Swami, you paying up for Kamara? You paying up for DJ Moore? You paying up for anybody in this game?
I'm interested in Kamara. I'm not interested in the Bears offense. I think if you were, then you could like more of the Saints offense. I think if you're like me, where you don't think it's going to be much back and forth, you really, I wouldn't pay up for the Saints defense, but I'm going to be more interested in them. Kamara. And Kamara is, I think, a product of the slate not being great. So I think what you're hearing from Walls is he'd rather pay a little bit more for Kamara with the understanding Kamara is going to get the targets out the backfield and he's going to get the opportunities running the ball versus a lot of guys who are splitting. We don't know who's going to get 4 carries, 5 carries, or no carries. And so I think it comes down to the lesser two evils because I do see what you're saying as far as Kamara's price and then this matchup with the Bears just not seeming like they're going to even, have a reason for the Saints to not be all sipping Gatorade and second line in the second half.
And to Willie's point, the Bears have been good stopping the run. They let up a lot of catches to running backs out of the backfield, but feels expensive. All right, let's continue on here. We don't have to delve into this game. Arizona against Cleveland. What if, though? What if was a fifth, Willie, what if Kyler Murray plays? Are you drinking that Kool-Aid?
Listen, the only person I might have interest in, and that's if he doesn't hurt his arm in warm up, is I think Watson is supposed to be playing.
Yeah.
So he's only 5,400, so, but for some reason that Arizona defense was giving Lamar some trouble the last game. So I don't trust Watson to stay healthy, to be honest with you. He gets hurt. He just, he's out of the game. But honestly, and it's not too much interest in this game, but Watson could be, he could be one of those guys that people are not looking at, and they're going against Arizona. That's it. I don't want nobody from Arizona, and I don't think he's playing. I don't think Kyler Murray's playing, is he?
No, they haven't decided yet. Swami, are you playing Trey McBride? Are you playing Amari Cooper? Cooper at home with Watson? I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe it's a little better.
I do have some interest with Cooper at home with Watson. I am a little bit concerned about Watson, and I think the Browns might be able to just kind of let that two-headed monster, run combined 30-plus times if Ford is healthy. If Ford isn't, and they lean on Hunt, and I feel like Hunt's a play. But I don't think Arizona is playing, well. I'm not fully sure what Willie got. They gave up 4 touchdowns plus, right? They didn't stop anybody. Lamar just didn't have the touchdown, so his fantasy numbers were low. But as far as playing the game, they dominated them.
They had 5 sacks. They sacked them 5 times. Remember, the Ravens got the ball in the red zone because they took it from their offense.
I would be the first to tell you about the play calling being awful. I don't think that makes the Arizona defense great. It just means that we've consistently had some of the worst play calling in the entire league, and that will continue. But it has nothing to do with Arizona being good. It's just about that offensive play calling being bad.
All right, let's take a look at another game here. It seems like we have to find one that makes people happy. Here's one that I think makes me slightly interested. Tampa Bay going on the road to Houston. Texans play better at home. Stroud was disgusting last week. And I feel like he disappointed us so much. Maybe we should revisit him. Tampa, good against the run, might make it that Houston has to throw. And then to throw it out even more, Dameon Pierce is out. Devin Singletary is in. Is he a lock button Willie at 4,300 free square?
He 4,300.
For who?
Devin Singletary, 4,300. Starting running back, no Dameon Pierce.
But Tampa doesn't give it up like that on a run. You know what I mean?
He can catch.
Man, I will look at him later. I have to look at him because I really wasn't looking at because man, and they getting Tunstall back. You're supposed to be playing this game.
Do you like Stroud? Do you like Nico Collins? Do you like Tank Dell? Do you like anybody?
I'm gonna be honest with you, Doc. This game has a bunch of mediocrity that listen. I'll let Swame have it. I mean, I'm not big on anybody in this game. And Singletary, I'm gonna take a look at him because I do like a cheap running back. So I digress. I will look at Mr. Singletary, but man.
Swami really heard the word bargain. He got interested. Let me ask you about Rachaad White for the Buccaneers, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Baker Mayfield. Can we get into any of these guys, Swami?
Doc, you almost talking me into it. There's something about this game that feels like it could be sneaky as well. I think both defenses are playing okay, but you can still make plays against them. And I think both offensive have been scrappy, right? Which means at times they've had big plays, and then at times they seem like they couldn't get out their own way. That would be true for both teams. And so I can see that it's enough offense from both teams where I could see something happening in this game. If you would have asked me who I like right now, I would take a Stroud, Collins, Singletary only because of price. Only, I can't say enough, only because of price. And then maybe come back with somebody. I think you like Godwin. I would probably be leaning maybe even more to White than I think even Godwin. But I always like to come back with a receiver. So I could see something like this is enough where if you could take a flyer on this game just because of, I think, two things, the kind of value that you can get from a stack and then the potential to kind of go off.
Hey, Doc, let me say this. It's only if I had to take two players. I mean, I gotta look at Singletary at 4,300. But the interesting one is Rachaad White. The way Tampa is throwing the ball to him now, I think they have a different way. The last two games, he's had over 13 catches. So and that's the way. Because at first, remember, I didn't understand what they were doing. The way you use him is you use him in the passing game, and they get him out in space, and he's making plays. So if I had to take a thing here, it would be just if Nico Collins going against White.
And I think Rachaad White's 5,700, something like that. Not that expensive. He's actually on FanDuel. He's 6,900, which I'm not paying on FanDuel personally. But the problem in this game is I feel, guys, like if I play this stack, maybe I make $10. I'm not here to make $10. I'm here to take down a tournament. I don't know if I'm taking down a tournament with this game. All right.
Go ahead.
Let's get to your game here, Willie. Washington at New England. This game is a sneaky 41 with two teams that play fast. A Washington team that, Willie, your team there made two weird trades. I think people are all a little confused by them. This game could blow up a little bit, or it could just be disgusting and revolting, and by the third quarter, it's 10-6, and we can't watch it anymore. And we're doing the Willie vomit routine. So do you trust Mac Jones? Are you playing Demario Douglas? Are you playing Juju? Are you playing Ramondre Stevenson? What are you doing?
I don't care about Juju is doo-doo. Give me that tomorrow. Give me the Mr. Douglas. He, when you look at him, he pops to me. I like him. And I think, with the Commanders giving up Sweat and Young, what pressure are they going to put on the passer? Mac Jones might be sitting in the pocket for about 9 seconds, looking down the field. So I do have interest in Mac Jones at 4,900. Yes, I like this quarterback a lot going against the Commanders. So I think that's very interesting, especially without a rush. Now, I just want to give you a sneaky tale. Commanders could look well. I don't know what it is. I think Philadelphia did something to their mothers or something, because every time they play Philly, they scrap. I mean, but then when they play teams that they should win, then they don't show up.
Yeah.
I.e. the Bears, i.e. the Giants. You understand what I'm saying? So when they go up, man, they don't come down the next day going down. But I like the New England side. I just like those two players, two people from New England. Skinny stack.
All right, Swami, Willie likes Douglas, but so do about 30% of other people playing this slate. I'm not saying it's a bad play. I'm not saying it. It's a smart play. But game theory-wise, I don't want to be the dude clicking that button, because me and 30% of my people are going to be clicking the same button.
I think I like what Willie's going with it. I think Douglas probably has the most upside from the receivers that we see there. I'm not mad at Juju because of his price. He's almost, free with a full tank of gas. I think Henry, who has disappeared for a few weeks, he has a good matchup as well. He could resurface. I got a lot of interest in Mac Jones. Again, he faced a couple of defenses that I think are, probably games that have been where he hasn't necessarily gone crazy, and he played okay. He had 4 touchdowns and I think 1 pick over the last 2 games against both Miami and Buffalo. They were in those games. And then on the other side, I think it's the same thing with Howell. Like Willie mentioned, 2 divisional opponents for him. And then he played the Bears, and that was an anomaly game for the Bears. But I think Jones can put together the kind of game that we need. I think the Commanders are enough of a threat where they may have to, keep some tempo, and I don't think they'll be able to just hand the ball off. And, I think the game both teams will probably have to throw. At least that's the one that I'm looking forward to playing. I'm not sure if either one of them are really scaring me. I'm not sure if either team is playing well enough for me to say that I don't like the offenses. I'll put it that way.
To your point, Swami, the Commanders are actually very good against tight ends, but the last 3-4 weeks, Cole Kmet lit them up, Kyle Pitts lit them up, Darren Waller lit them up. So, Hunter Henry could be a play this week, and we haven't heard his name in a while, so he could be very sneaky. I'll give you that one for sure. All right, let's get to another game here, the last 1 o'clock game, the Rams and Green Bay. So let me make 2 comments here. This is a low-scoring game. Willie's already like, ugh. But I'm going to give you a couple of players in this game that I think might be interesting. I don't know if Matthew Stafford plays, but I think Darrell Henderson plays, and I think Green Bay is not good stopping the run. Is he undervalued? And Green Bay has stunk all year long. It has been wretched. But Luke Musgrave is in a good spot. Jake Ferguson was the first touchdown of the week last week. Jordan Love hasn't exploded at all yet. We haven't seen the Packers play good football. At home, is there a chance, Willie Walls, that the Packers can play good football?
Hell no, they stink. Okay? They stink. They stink. Listen, Jordan Love stinks. They stink. I can't listen.
Luke Musgrave? Can you get behind Luke Musgrave?
Musgrave can't get out the tub. Okay?
He's playing this week.
His 3 target, give me 2.5 points, or I'll get in the game, I'll get concussed, oh, I will sprain my ankle. He can't play a full game, man. Hey, listen, Green Bay, no, thank you. No, thank you. Dylan Jones splitting, man.
What about Cooper Kupp, Swame? What about Nakua? What about Darrell Henderson? Any remote chance you're playing these dudes?
Doc, not just no, but hell no.
First,
Stafford's thumb is banged up. We don't know what shape he's going to be in. I think they just going to lean on Henderson in this game. You don't think anything's coming back the other way to push him. Every time we mention Mustard, whatever his name is on this show, Luke has been awful. He hasn't turned in one performance anytime we've called his name. If I was interested in anybody on that team, Watson hasn't done nothing. Is it time for him to get behind the defense and hit a home run ball? I'll take a flyer on the home run ball from him and coming back the other way. If I took a receiver, if Puka is healthy, if Stafford is healthy, there's a lot of ifs, Doc. So give me Henderson, give me Watson. Let's get out of here.
All right, let's get to the last three games. I think the most interesting. I could literally just do, and I may do this, guys. I may only put these last three games in my lineup. I may have nobody from the 1 o'clocks. Sit down, enjoy the games, hang out with little Roto, watch a little football, and then focus on the last three and have the late game hammers. Let's talk about the first one here. Indianapolis and Carolina. This is the fastest paced game of the day. These teams play fast. Willie, can we find a little love? I'm just throwing you some names here. Jonathan Taylor played well. Maybe a little Zach Moss, maybe a little Josh Downs. Maybe Bryce Young has to play. Maybe Jonathan Mingo. Maybe Adam Thielen. Do we like anybody in this game?
I was digging Hubbard until I heard that ignorant coach speak. Because I was going to be all on Hubbard. I said, man, this is the time to get Hubbard. No, we don't want to do that. We want to split carries. I'm sorry. Mr. Sanders, I didn't want to run 17-1 touches. That's my fault. We're going to split carries this week. So, come on, man. I was trying to. Now, if I got any interest in anybody, which I do, I have. And see, the Colts make me mad too. Jonathan Taylor was smashing the first half. Smashing. Then he gets 2 carries the second half.
And I don't think he was injured, by the way. I think that was all wives' tale. I think Jim Bob Cooter just was like, oh, let's go with Zach Moss. They didn't even think about Taylor.
Truth to be told, let me say this. And that's why I can't get in on Taylor, because I would love Taylor this game. Love him. But I can't trust what the guy's going to do, because one thing Moss has done, which he has 289 explosive run yards. That's only second to McCaffrey at 310. For some reason, he's been very efficient this year. And that coach, what I didn't like, Doc, 11-6. 11-6. And the reason why people have not passed the ball as much against Carolina is because they're so bad against the run. You know what I mean? You average. See, it's hard to get behind somebody that's only going to throw 27 times a game.
I know.
And that's what people average in this game. So that's what gives me cause for pause. But I do think Mr. Mingo is a man of interest. He's a man of interest. I think Mingo, everybody's thinking about Thielen. Finally, he showed some spark last week. And I think Young is getting better. I think
he's getting better. He looks better.
He's getting better. So because Pittman gets a ton of targets. That. And they go fast. But on the running back part, I can't get with the running backs because I don't trust. Because Jonathan Taylor at 6,900, normally I would love that, but at 6,900, I want more than a 50-50 split.
Right.
That's too expensive to give me a 50-50 split. So it will be the passing game that I'll have more interest in this game. But because I was all fired up for this game with Hubbard, and then I looked at Taylor. But when I looked at the stats for Taylor, and he looked so good. Taylor passed the eye test. I said, this is the Jonathan Taylor from 2 years ago that we wanted. But man, but we can't get past a coach being an idiot. That's what I don't get. And see, it's hard for me to get with that because the coaches are an idiot.
Swame, I want to like this game, but like Willie said, we're just unsure of where to go with it. Do you any guys that you're sure of in this game or not really?
No, I don't think so. Mingo, I would probably give him a chance at that price. Even though Thielen's been playing well, his new price concerns me, the one he's had the last couple of weeks. And you see how he's looked since he's had that new price tag. And I think that it's going to be somebody that does something. I like Pittman. I mentioned that. I also like whoever's going to be running the ball for the Colts. But because of all the uncertainty around who's going to be in there, and even if the teams can get it in the end zone, I can't stand games like this from a fantasy perspective. It's irritating.
They're good for real life, but not great for fantasy.
It sucks.
All right, let's get to the two of the bigger games.
Thank you.
I'm going to save the best for last. I'll save the Eagles and Cowboys for last. The Raiders and Giants, guys, I think there's fantasy goodness here. I do. I'm telling you right now, I will have at least one team, if not more, with O'Connell, Jacobs, Adams, and I'm going to bring it on back with Daniel Bellinger. Telling you straight up. Because I think I know where O'Connell's going to go with the ball. He's going to hand it to Josh Jacobs or he's going to throw it to Devontae Adams. And then I'm going to get Bellinger for $2,500. It's going to cost me nothing. If the Giants sniff the end zone, maybe I get lucky. Maybe I'm crazy, but I can afford a lot of good guys around that. Or I don't play Josh Jacobs and I just go O'Connell and Adams and I stack my lineups. I do like what Willie's saying, but I do it with Adams and O'Connell and not Mac the Knife and Juju the Poo-Poo. So, Willie, can you get with this game or all?
Yeah, I mean, I like the two backs. You know, I think they would be make an interesting stack against each other because I think, like I said, the thing that really stuck out to me was in that one game that O'Connell played, 11 catches for Josh Jacobs. You know, I like that. So, I can see about Bellinger, I mean, but has Daniel Jones learned anything from watching the other quarterback?
No.
That's the question I have.
He went to Duke. He's not too bright.
But Barkley is definitely a man of interest going against the Raiders. And the Raiders have been, defense hasn't been as bad, but I do like Barkley a lot. Barkley's going to get a lot of touches, but it's hard for me to enjoy any of that passing game. I ain't gonna lie to you, because the Raiders have actually been pretty good against that pass. You saw what Gibbs did to the Raiders last week. I mean, he went nuts. And I think Barkley could do the same thing. And I think the interesting thing about this is that you're right. You say he's tunnel vision, so he probably, because I remember the last time he played, he was throwing more to Myers.
No. He threw 13 times to Adams and 4 times to Myers.
Okay. All right. Well, then he's going to throw it to what is his price?
O'Connell's like $4,500.
No. What is Adams' price?
Isn't he 8? Is he 8?
Yep.
He's 8,100.
Well,
Nobody's going to want to play him. He was open all game against Detroit. All game. Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't find him.
No, he was. He might not find him again with this quarterbacking. But I would rather see. I'm gonna be honest with you, Doc. If I'm going to pay $8,100 for a receiver, man, give me CJ, give me Lamb.
I may get Lamb in my lineup too. I'm just saying. All right, Swami.
And give me the don't forget about the other receiver on the other side.
I may get him in my lineup too. I'm just saying I could throw a lot of things in there with Aiden O'Connell. Swami, can you get behind this game at all, or am I just like literally smoking something?
Doc, I know you've heard a couple of sayings. One, if you don't have nothing nice to say, your mom will tell you don't say nothing at all. So let me tell you something about this, because I talked with Willie about this. Willie, by the way, folks out there in podcast land, might be the single best DFS player I know. But here's what's true. I tell Willie all the time about these stats. And every week we have a situation like this. I told him what the Giants would do. 4 sacks, 2 fumbles that they forced, and they didn't give up nothing but 1 score. The last 3 weeks, they haven't given up nothing. They face offensive like Buffalo. Because Breece Hall finished with a decent fantasy number, Willie wants to pretend I didn't hear him. Well, Doc, in pool halls across America, you got to call your shot when you're as good as Willie was. You can't just hit the 8 ball and hope it go in any pocket. You got to say 8 ball corner pocket. Willie Walls said 125 yards minimum and 2 touchdowns rushing for Breece Hall. Breece Hall went out and had about 12 yards rushing. He was 113 yards and 2 touchdowns short. But Willie will say, I still finished with the fantasy number.
Which I did.
That's
21 points was good at his price point, sir. However it happens, it happens.
Just like your middle school teacher used to tell you, show your work. And the reason why? Because a broke clock right twice a day. Anybody can come up with the right answer. You could guess. Show me the steps. By showing the steps, Doc, it's repeatable. You can do it again.
So what's your point about this game?
Point about this game is no way I'm playing it. I would fool. This defense is probably at 2,300. It's probably the best play that we got out of this game. Might be the best defense play on the entire slate.
They will be my defense, but let me say this. I will say this, though, that without Leonard Williams, like I said, that's the best lineman that they had. There's going to be more holes. I'm just telling you, they just lost their best lineman. That you got to take that into account. When you're missing your best run stopper and he's out of the game, I'm just telling you.
The Raiders stop their own run. They don't need help. I promise you. Me and you could hold.
You guys are missing one important thing. I swear to you, you are. Psychology.
What the
Raiders hated McDaniels. They were done. They're like that kid whose mom and dad never let him go out, and this kid goes to college week 1 and goes ape shit crazy. I'm just saying, the Raiders are gonna have fun.
Pierce already said it. I guarantee you Jacobs will touch the ball 20 times this game. Pierce is a defensive guy. So they're gonna have a different mentality. And I think, like I said, they can have hope, and it might be this fly-by game. But what I'm saying to you, I am interested. The 2 people I'm interested more than anybody in this game is Barkley and Jacobs.
All right, let's move to the big kahuna. One more word, Swami. Go ahead.
Absolutely. I just told you about going against this defense. Here we go again. What is Jacobs going to do? Give us a number. We don't want to hear.
Listen. The way this guy. Listen. First of all, against a better defense was Detroit. I thought Jacobs had a pretty good game.
He did.
I thought he played phenomenal for what he was working with, and what the Giants without Leonard. I'm playing the Giants defense. Let me truth be told.
Do here? That's all we want to know.
I think Jacobs could get in the end zone, and I think he can get about. He had 11 catches the last time. I think there's going to be a lot of dump offs to do. Well, that's one thing I do like about O'Connell. He dumps it down to Jacobs.
Right.
He likes Jacobs.
I'm telling you. All right, let's move to the last game. Eagles, Cowboys, the big one. So I have one general question, Swami, before we even break down the game. Can you fade this game, or is that just
hell no?
Not just no, but hell no.
Okay. All right. So now, just throwing this out here. I'm going to paint you this game. You can't run on the Eagles. Pollard hasn't looked good. So now you're relying on Dak Prescott getting back there, throwing a CD Lamb, throwing a Ferguson. But when you need Dak to play well, doesn't always do it. On the other side, you've got Hurts. You've got A.J. Brown, who's looked like literally the best receiver in the NFL. You've got Devonta Smith, who showed up last week. You got Swift. You got a lot of guys going on here, Swami. Talk to me about this game stack. And do you have to go all in and go overweight on this game to make money?
No, and I'm not thinking about a full game stack. People out there in podcast land, all our good friends, hear me and hear me good. I'm not thinking about a full stack here. I can see where folks would be tempted based on the last 3 scores. Cowboys won the last 3, 40-34, 51-26, and 41-21. What's clear to me is that the Dak side of this thing has figured out the other side. I like Dak. You can play Dak. You can stack him with CeeDee Lamb. I heard you and Alicia talking about Ferguson. Not mad at Mr. Ferguson. I think he'll be involved. But my favorite parts of this are CeeDee Lamb coming back with Goddard. You could talk me in A.J. Brown. Not mad with A.J. Brown, but I feel like that's not necessarily where the Cowboys are going to be vulnerable in this game. I think they're going to likely have, somebody keeping an eye on Mr. Brown. His last few games, he's had 103 yards against them and 67. He scored a touchdown in one. Each of them, his fantasy points have been under 18, where I think he could be right around that. And I don't know at his price if that's what I'm looking for. I think I'm getting better value with Goddard, but not mad at him. But as far as any other piece that you mentioned in this game, any other piece, I'm not interested in them because of their price and the matchup.
Willie, Swame brings out something interesting. CeeDee Lamb seems to me like a lock on this slate.
Oh, he is.
But A.J. Brown, you're paying full value, and this doesn't feel like a 38-point week. Maybe it's a 20-point week, and you're paying a lot of money for 20 points. I can use Demario Douglas and probably get 13. And he's going to cost me half as much. So do you play Devonta Smith? Do you play Goddard like Swami says? Do you play DeAndre Swift against Dallas's suspect run defense? What do you do here?
I think you can play it both ways. I'm going to have some Brown. I'm going to tell you. But my favorite part will probably be the Slim Reaper, because a lot of attention is going to be paid to AJ Brown, because what they run, Dallas runs a single high is what they run now. Honestly, AJ Brown has killed this. He's got 47 targets in this, so this is a strength. That's why I'm going to have a couple of lineups with AJ Brown in there, because you could, man, but that's what I'm going to be doing, the cross stack, where I'm going to be paying down that quarterback. Because I'm going to have some stacks when I have Dak. What I like a lot is I like Dak. I like Dak, Lamb, and Ferguson, and I also like Dak, Lamb, and other receiver from you.
Cook's a lot.
Yeah,
Who?
I love those three combination. And what I'm saying is, I think you can bring it back with the Slim Reaper or AJ Brown, or I like Goddard. I think all those.
So you like Devonta Smith this week?
Yes, I do. Yeah. I like him actually better than Brown. I think he's a better value, and I think that they're going to be paying a lot of attention to Brown, especially after last week. And you know how the things swing between those two. I think it could be. I
gotta narrow him and Tyrone down because he named everybody.
But I mean, but I'm going to have the Dallas side. Like I said, I'm going to have at least in every lineup. I'm going to have either, what's the name in Ferguson or what's the name in Cook. You follow what I'm saying? Lamb is a lot. But I'm going to play it a lot too, Swami, where I will have, when I will pay down with the New England.
Right. If you do New England, you can get it in.
You understand what I'm saying? Then I can play those two. See, it makes sense. You just do that cross thing where people have won.
But I could also do the full stack that you just mentioned, Doc, where you just play Prescott and Lamb. You come back against them Reaper and Goddard. I'm okay with something like that as well. I don't think I need to have, another person from the Cowboys, but I really like Cooks, so he would be a part of that for me. And I would just
I'm going to have a lot of Cooks. But what I'm saying is, if you want to go up, I will pay down at the quarterback, and you could get the full value. So you just got to switch it up, because people are taking down tournaments by having one stack here, then you have the big guys in another lineup.
Cooks is very interesting at 4,400.
Yeah,
and he's going to be 5% owned in that game. I mean, that's pretty good.
I'll probably have like 40% of Cook. I'm going to have Cook in a lot of my lineup.
Lamb, Cook, Prescott coming back with Goddard for sure, and Slim Reaper, if you like.
See, I think that's actually the way to play this game. I think you play a lot of it, and you hope the game is 38-34, and you just figure, I'm going to if Brown kills me, he kills me, but if they hold him down, you have everybody else.
Because, see, this is the thing that you got to that I'm starting to do now that I think makes sense. And this is a mistake I made without Gabe, with Gabe Davis, having, you got to look at the quarterbacks that can play. These quarterbacks now, this is probably the worst set of quarterbacks ever in the NFL if you look at it with all these backups. So do you think I want to take my chance with that quarterback from the Raiders against Adams, or do I want
my guy Aiden O'Connell?
Or do I want to take the chance with a Dak or with a Hurts throwing the
Hurts,
ball?
right? No, it makes sense. It makes sense.
So
you do it two different ways, right? We've talked about this. You get the cheap quarterback and you get the stars, or you get the great quarterback and you take a shot with the Demario Douglases of the world and the Cookses of the world, and you hope to hit.
Right.
All right. Willie's got to go in a second. I need a stack, Swami. Who's the Hunsky? I give you the Hunsky. Who's the stack?
Now, Doc, I'm not going to take the easy route out and tell you something about the Cowboys or tell you something about playing, Philly. And Walls has kind of already played spoiler because I was going to say New England, but because he's kind of already offered that one up, Doc, in real time, I'm going to go ahead and make a change. And who I'm going to go with this week as far as a full stack, you kind of mentioned C.J. Stroud. I'm going to let you have that one. I'm going to pick, I think I'm going to go.
You can have that one. I'm not picking that one.
You're not picking that one? Yeah, me neither, Doc. I'm going to throw that one back. I think I want to give the folks out there.
Take your time.
Because Stafford's not injured. So I don't want to. Stafford's not. We don't know. So I don't know. All right, Doc. I'm going to go back with my Mac Jones with Mario Douglas.
All right. Took me a while to get there. Willie, what's your stack?
This Slate is so doodle, man. You can't help but to go back. You like, damn, I can't take it, man. This Slate is garbage. Damn. Because I don't want to pick this game, but man, Lord, it's hard when you don't pick this game. Whoo. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna put my money about both. I'm just saying listen, I know this is not the balls to the wall. I got a balls to the wall call, but what I'm saying, both of the running backs, it's an interesting dynamic because people normally don't want to play two running backs in the same game. I think you can play Jacobs, and I think you can play Barkley in the same game, and that would be an interesting one. I'm just saying. Listen. I ain't gonna give no credit. Listen, man, there's a bunch of doo-doo out here, man. I'm just saying, an interesting way to stack. That's just something different that people don't do.
I'm stacking O'Connell and Adams. I said it before. I'm saying it now. All right, balls to the walls call from Willie Walls. What you got for me?
Hey, I tell you who I like at tight end, where I'm going to be able to pay up for Kamara, and I'm going to be able to pay up for Kamara and also pay up for Barkley. There's a guy named Mr. Cotton for the tight end for
Cade Otton?
Cade Otton. Yeah, Cade Otton. I like Cade Otton getting the end zone. Shut up, man. I mean, come on. I could say Demario Douglas, but I don't want. We already talked about Douglas.
Cade Otton?
I tell you what. My balls to the wall call is Cook. I like Cook for Dallas.
Brandon Cooks. All right, there we go. That's normal. All right, Swami, who you got?
That was my balls to the walls call.
You took mine, you bastard. You took my call. I said, I'm taking yours. No, you're not having it.
Don't worry. No, don't worry. You can have them because I got two other rascals that I'm going to give, just like Doc said. First one I'm going to give is going to be a guy named Mr. Crowder for Washington. I think Samuels is out. I think they really like the routes that he would run. Last week, I think he had 7 to 8 targets and even got in the end zone. I think this could be an interesting one. As much as we like the New England side of this, I think on the road, I think he could be a man of interest, Mr. Crowder. Then the other side of this, I'm less confident in, and I'm saying this under protest. But when you got a number one receiver, that's $3,200. You got Daniel Jones coming back. I just feel Slayton, because hear me out. I don't like it at all. I said I'm saying this under protest. I won't say at all, but it's definitely risky. You've got Daniel Jones coming back. Last I saw, Robinson even though he might play, he was on the injury report all week. For some reason, Saquon Barkley showed up on the injury report. Darren Waller's on the injury report. He was the only starter not on the injury report this week, and I'm only offering him up under protest because it's a true balls to the walls call, not a no balls to the walls call like you gave, Sid.
All right. I will give you the guy I mentioned before, Devin Singletary. I don't love him. Tampa's good against the run, but when you give me a $4,300 starting running back in the NFL, the dude only has to put up 10 points. And I don't love the running backs this week. I like the receivers this week. So if I also like Darrell Henderson. You mentioned him earlier too, Swame. Green Bay, really atrocious stop in the run. And if Brett Rippon is the quarterback, he may get 20 touches.
Yeah, but they split it though. Remember, they give Freeman a lot too. They split those carries.
I know. I know they both stink.
My long shot is Watson for Green Bay. He has to do something. I told you guys about Ridley being due a couple weeks ago. This guy he has to do something. He's stealing at this point.
Yeah, but sometimes he gets open, and it's just this quarterback who can't hit the side of a barn.
I think he plays like Randy Watson, sexual chocolate. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
All right. We are almost done here, but we wish you a lot of luck. I know it's a tough slate. You get 200 points, you're probably going to win. For Doc, Willie, and the Swami, we tell you be well and
take care.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.
Ooh.